Short, what I hear from men who like men are that basically like everybody is open game.
Like that's disgusting.
I know that's
to me.
yeah.
Like, I don't respect you as a man that you're willing to disrespect another man's house.
Broken. Right. And when you get into stuff broken, it leads to more brokenness.
Yes.
Like, hello everybody, welcome back to Fine, Kind, and Divine. My name is EJ.
My name is Vany.
And we are on episode 16. Yay. Welcome back if you're a returner. Welcome if you're new here. Our show is definitely just to bring awareness to some of the toxic norms that are happening out there, specifically in the dating / marriage / family realm of things. So if you are looking to get in, an actual meaningful relationship, we just kind of use our experiences and biblical perspectives to get you there maybe faster and just avoid some of the mistakes that we've made. We really find value in that, and we definitely want to help people do the same.
And I think even just like, maybe I can't help you. Maybe I don't have the answers, but I think just having these conversations will spark food for thought for the people that are watching. Like, oh, you know what? Like, maybe I didn't see it that way, or that perspective is different, whatever. Let me revisit, right? Like, one of the girls left a comment on our YouTube, and she's like, well, now I got to go back on my list of like the things that I want in a man. So like, we might not have the exact answers. I can't necessarily guide anybody, but I do think that we can create a space where we can have those conversations that will kind of lead us somewhere.
And also the aspect of just doing Bible study and learning together. Like we said, we're not experts in dating and relationships and stuff like that, but
we're not experts in the Bible. Right. We're learning.
However, we want people to come along this journey with us to grow spiritually, get closer to God, and to get just closer to those God-like relationships that we are supposed to have based on what he wants for us. So
exactly. Yeah, so today we're gonna do something a little different. It was just kind of like random.
It was
but it's something that I think like even I have thought about, because I don't know if you saw, like a couple times I have posted like reaction videos too, but for what's his name, Neo and that hot mess.
Oh with about his 4 girlfriends.
So I had made something like that too, and I noticed that does, like, it is a way of starting conversation. Right. So that's what we want to do. We want to switch it up just for today, see how this goes, and see how people like it, and just react to some of the things that you are consuming that we're consuming, right? Because social media is a platform where it's a bunch of consumers, and what is being put out there will influence how, like, the decisions we make.
Right. The norms, technically.
The norms, yeah. Like, right. Like, culture is being created through social media right now.
Right. Which is kind of scary.
Right. Exactly.
It's a little bit scary. And I think that's why sometimes we really need redirection. Like, we really need to say, like, what are we even talking about here? Right. Like, literally. Because some of the stuff that's being put out there is so far off, especially for people who are trying to, like, have a relationship with God. Normally it's the total opposite. And we don't want to get that planted in our heads, like it's okay when it's not, you know what I mean? So
exactly. So we're going to just go ahead and kind of go through social media and see what's out there. Go ahead and put your, I saw your face immediately.
Okay, wait, here we go.
Okay, it's recording now.
A lot of heterosexual men don't like women for real. They don't.
His face.
They like women sexually, but they don't like women. They're not attracted to what a woman is outside of her sexual organs. So then when we get into why a lot of men womanize, or why it's just they're minimizing a woman based off of who she slept with or who she potentially can sleep with, because it's like you haven't gained the appreciation of the wholeness of a woman yet, and what that wholeness of a woman can bring to your life. A lot of times we'll talk about strength and we'll say men are stronger than women. But that's because we value physical strength. We're not talking about emotional strength, spiritual strength. Yeah. We're not talking about the type of strength that can run a household. And we're not putting that same type of weight. And what I would encourage, this was the shift that I had to do, is I had to start liking the wholeness of a woman outside of sex. And then when you do that, now you appreciate the things a complete woman can bring to your life. When we talk about the Bible talks about finding a capable wife. Right? That capable wife, that person that if you was to stumble, can pick up the ball and start running. And there's a lot of men that have just a wife because they was only concerned about what she can do in the bed. And so what I'm just encouraging men to do is just like, and it's for our own benefit, because a lot of us, especially men with some type of means, we end up finding a dependent, not a partner. Yeah, she is good. But if you was able to stumble, bro, what the fuck is gonna happen with your family? And so I just encourage men to be, I'm not gonna say more.
I feel like he don't know what to say. He don't know what to say on the opposite end. He's like,
Cam Newton. Yeah. I mean, we know.
To a lot of men. But as attracted to what she brings as a feminine energy to your life outside of just what you're doing. And pick this up.
Okay, that was a lot.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot in there, and at first, I think I wasn't like able to. Immediately, I was like, "Where is this going?" You know, because I'm like, "So y'all all gay?" Like literally, like that was like, "So men are not attracted to women, so y'all gay?" Or like, "What's up? Like, what's going on in here?"
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna bring that up right now, but I have an interesting kind of take on that. We'll get to it, but I'm not saying that men like men, but even like here in Houston, I don't even know how to explain. Basically, long story short, what I hear from men who like men are that basically like everybody is open game. I know that sounds crazy, but like literally they are pursuing and successful with straight men that identify as straight, right? But they're successful with them no matter if they have like a girlfriend or a wife. Like somehow they're getting through to them to bring some type of curiosity to where these men are flipping.
I don't know if I'm looking to get canceled right now. But
I know it sounds crazy. And the aggressiveness of how they pursue it. And this is, I don't even know how we got on this, but it just, what you said made me think of this. And I was debating on, should I say this?
No, but say what you trying to say. I mean, this is a conversation, right? So
should I say this? But at the end of the day, like, even with my husband, right, there has been a lot of cases of like him being pursued aggressively by men who like men. Now, I'm not here to judge anybody's sexuality. Like we all sin differently. God didn't put me here to condemn, to judge. God put me here to love. So no matter what your sexuality is, I'm not going to say that it's right by the Bible. However, I extend love anyway. You know, I've been a college cheerleader. I've been on a team where with men who like men, and those are my friends. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to say like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
But I do.
But at the same time, the Bible does not condone it.
Right.
And so I think it's a very evil thing to then really go after someone and try to lead them astray. Now, how it happens to where the other person that is supposed to be straight on the other end is reeled in, that I can't put that together. Like, I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's really happening. And like these stories that they're telling me, even back then in college, they were telling me, oh, he has a girlfriend, but XYZ. I went over there. I did this. Like, it's happening a lot.
I mean, you're saying, right, like, okay, I'm not gonna rebuke whatever, but we gotta call a demon, you know. And I'm not saying, and the thing is, because we know that the battle is spiritual, like it's not your physical whatever, but it's what's happening within you and who's using you as a vessel, right? Because that's what I've been saying. All of us are vessels, but what's filling us up, right? What is leading our decisions? Right. And if you are intentionally trying to pursue straight men just to say, ha, I was able to do that, and like he actually, like, there's evil behind that.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that's why I'm speaking on it, because I've seen it so many times now. Like I'm saying, even literally with my husband, like they are so aggressive, and they know that this is a straight man. You know what I mean? But there's something that is enticing to them that makes them feel like, oh, this is a challenge. This is a challenge. I've done this before, because this is what they're claiming. I have done this before and this has worked. Therefore, no matter if you identify with this, no matter if you have a girlfriend, wife, whatever the case may be, I'm going to still try to penetrate this anyway and see if I can get in regardless, knowing that that man is like, you know, on a straight path. And I just think that's crazy. Like, I'm not going to lie. At this point, it's almost like you have to look at it like, it's like, I don't know how to explain, but like as if it's almost like how a female would act. Like
when she knows he's in a relationship.
Right. It's the same thing. I have had dirty looks like by men who like men are like disgust. You know what I mean? Of like seeing a man that, you know, wants to pursue in a social setting, you know, maybe they think my husband is very attractive, you know what I mean? And they're like disgusted, like that he has someone.
It's you and not them.
It's insane. And I'm not gonna lie, like it really gets me sometimes, but what gets me more is the success rate that they speak about, that they actually are making this happen. So like what is going on sexually, like to where a straight man is possibly curious about that. Like what demons is he fighting with? Like, is he bored with
all the not the PP, but the JJs that he's already experienced? Because there's no discipline even within that. So now you've explored all of that. So you're like, well, now I need something different to satisfy my needs. I was watching this podcast that was talking about how like for men, it's like now they require more and more stimulation because they're exposed to like pornography, things like that, that it's like, it's a high, it releases high dopamine levels and whatever. So it's like a drug. It's like once you've experienced a certain level, you're going to need something stronger to, you know, make sure that you feel that same high again.
And I think that's how you run into like the Diddy stuff. Like it's like he has so much money and power that he can try anything he wants. He can have anybody he wants, and he has tried so many things, probably has sex with so many women that it's now like, what's next? Let me level this up in some type of way. And then you end up in all these crazy positions because you let your flesh lead you so far. And I think honestly, like corn has a big role in that as well, because you're looking at all this crazy stuff and that's what you want to do as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like you want to try this, you want to try that. Oh, I tried that. What's next? Like, chasing that high.
Right. But the thing is too, is like what is being reported is that even when they're watching these things, right? Like it's not realistic. What you're seeing on these, like, you know, sex videos, whatever, they're so unrealistic. It's gonna be really hard for you to find a regular woman that's willing to do a lot of those things. So then that's why you don't end up even pursuing a lot of women, because you're better off just messing with yourself and still being able to watch that and just dream about the possibility of experiencing something. It's just such a weird and messy and yucky and evil, like
not knowing that. And the reason why I speak on it is because I've been in a place to where I feel like I just ended up so empty because I'm literally not thinking about sexual partners in a way that it should be only my husband. And so now you're attaching yourself to certain spirits and you're not thinking anything of it. Like you're just like, you know, everybody does this while they're dating, you know, like if I like him enough, then we can go ahead and be physical. And then you end up, or me personally, I just ended up totally depressed and out of there and so far from out of touch with myself and so far away from God just by doing that. And I just don't want people to end up that way. Like no matter how much you feed that flesh and desire, it's never going to be enough. And I think that people don't understand that until they hit rock bottom. And then it's like, why do I feel like this? So it's just food for thought. Like we think it's normal to have all these sexual relationships and without commitment, you know what I mean? And it's just, it seems like it's okay, you know, while you're doing it because everybody else is doing it. But the reality is it's not okay. And it's not going to really make you feel okay in the end. Eventually, like your spirit is going to be tarnished. So
and he even Ace, which is the guy on the video, and if y'all don't know him, he's part of the like panel of it's a talk, like it's like a show or someone, you know, they're kind of having like conversations about dating, whatever, and there's a whole crowd, and then someone comes up and they're like, you know, they're asking for relationship advice and da da da, and then it gets kind of crazy, whatever. Like the things that are being said in that show is pretty crazy. You know, and some of the things I'm like, I cannot believe you said that out loud. Like, you really think like that's like, it's insane. But anyways, Ace, he's from there. And something he said too is like, you're not just having sex with that person, you're having sex also with the guy that she was dating, the crazy guy that now he's going to go crazy. And if he finds out that you were messing with her and whatever, like there's so many other attachments that you're so unaware about when you mess with someone that you have nothing. Actually, I don't even know if it was in that specific clip because I was trying to watch the rest. And he was saying like, men also have to have a set of standards for themselves and their bodies. Like women, right now we're lacking on that. Like we're going downhill, but it's more common for us to be like, yeah, no, we're not going to just go ahead and give our cookie to anybody and everybody, right? But for men, it's like, they're not going to turn it down. Yeah. You know, it don't matter. Man, I've seen videos where it's like dudes are having sex with freaking homeless women. Like, what are you doing? Like, that woman has not taken a shower in months. Are you going to catch something? That's all it is. It's just... Now, that's insane. That is insane. And that's what, like, it's like a lot of dudes just don't have that set of standards for themselves. Like, I've met some dudes that do. They'll be like, yeah, absolutely. I'm not just going to mess with somebody. Like, you know. But a lot of dudes are like... I mean, I've met one of a friend I have. He's a friend. But I'm not dumb. Yeah. I'm not dumb. I know I'm the friend... the female friend to a lot of guy friends that I know if I were given the opportunity, they will. So I literally told him, I said, stop playing with me. You know, if I would have told you right now, let's go ahead and like, you know, handle business, you're going to tell me no? And he starts laughing and he was like, and I'm like, exactly. Like, you're not going to turn it down because for you, it's just a fun time. Right. Versus for me, I know it's an attachment. Right. You don't have discipline in that area. And I think it comes from... Yes, it didn't happen. I knew better and he knew better. Literally. It comes from being aware. And I think the way that we are aware is by truly somehow getting on the right path and seeking. Like, I feel like I was in the dark, right? Until I started seeking. Okay. Once you start seeking, you start to see the light. You start to see like all these things that are affecting you in the wrong ways. You start to see like this path, if I continue going down this path, like I'm not going to be a good person. Right. You know what I mean? So I think it all goes back to like, are you looking for God? Like, are you seeking him? Because if not, you can get lost in so many things that are destructive to you. Right. And the problem is that I don't think enough people are seeking or taking it serious. And even if you do read it, right? Are you trying to apply it? I think that's the biggest thing. Like, because you can read it all day. You can say, you know, on the dating shows, everybody is like, I'm a Christian. Yeah, I go to church here and there. But what does that mean? Like, are you trying to embody that lifestyle? Because I can say maybe I was the same way, you know. Yeah, I grew up in the church. You know what I'm saying? That's what I hear all the time. Right. Is anytime I try to have a conversation about that, or like even the videos that I've posted and someone responds back to it, they always say this very specific, not in these exact words, but the same thing, just however they want to put a spin on it. It's always you know, after I grew up, I learned like what life is really like, because I did go to church, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Sundays, whatever, and like I already know. But I'm like, no, but you were forced to go to church. You didn't build a relationship with God, so you do not know the foundation of what God is really saying to us through the scripture. I know so many people that I can be like, I'll tell them things about the scripture. I'm like, oh dang, I didn't even know that was there, and I'm like, I know, neither did I, because when we were younger, we weren't there for the right intention. Right. We didn't know what we were doing. We were just there. That seed was simply planted. Now it's our responsibility to continue to water it so it can flourish in the right way. Exactly. And you have to really get in there. Like, even as an adult, when I first returned to church, like as an adult, I was there. I was receiving the message. I was feeling it, right? I was believing in God, but I wasn't opening up my Bible and reading it and studying it. So I still didn't understand. So you still feel like you can do what you want to do because you don't understand the consequences. And so it's just not the same. Like, you can very much so be a believer, but you're not
you're not disciplined enough and your spirit isn't being cleansed because you're not trying to embody that lifestyle that actually leads to like a clean spirit. So you can really feel like your best self, like through God. Like I feel like we have to find our best selves through God. And if you don't travel that world, oh man, you can get so lost in everything.
Literally. But even going back to what he was talking about in this clip where what he really was getting to with the men they're not really attracted to women. It was the qualities of a woman, right? Like, or the just the attributes of a woman, right? We are more emotional. Men don't like that. We are more needy. Men don't like that. We require more attention. Men don't like that. So it was like, I think that's what he was trying to get to, is like, a lot of men are not attracted naturally to these things because that's not even what they're seeking for in a woman. Until they really learn the value of a woman, then they're like, oh wait, I need her to be emotional. I need her to be softer. I need her to have like want attention, you know, because at that point, you're just gonna date your bro. Yeah. So what's holding you back at that point to date your bro?
Some men think that, you know, like just what he was saying. He was saying in the beginning that basically like, you don't like women and all you do is seek their organs.
Literally.
So if you're doing that, that's technically what they want. They want like a homie with a
vagina.
Right. But how does that make you grow? Like, I think that's for the lazy man. You know what I mean? Like, that's for the man who just wants to stay in his comfortability and he doesn't want to elevate. So you just use women for the physical part. And what he said as well is you judge them by their physical encounters with other people because that's all you know how to judge, because that's all you do. So now your mind is warped because you're projecting what you do onto everybody else. And it's just like, you have this macho thing going on. Like, I want to find a woman that has no sexual encounters with anybody. And you literally have slept through with thousands, you know, like hundreds. You don't
even have count.
Right. Of women. And you can't even be mature enough to realize that, like, hey, first of all, a woman is not defined by that. And also a lot of women are redirected, thank God, like myself, who had a past of something, but I would never go down that road again because I bumped my head and I realized, you know, I'm not doing that again. So like, we all are human. We've all arrived where we are for a reason in God's timing. So like, to judge a woman by that and that alone, especially on your end, it's just like, you have it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's bizarre. But like in the comments of that, right? That video
could probably be some.
Yeah, in the comments of that, it was some crazy stuff going on. Women were basically saying, we knew this already, which I was like, man, that's kind of crazy that like women really, they already peep game with that. And we're not biased on this show, by the way. Like, if women are wrong, they're wrong. If men are wrong, they're wrong. Like, we advocate for both sides. Like, we're trying to bring men and women together. Like, this is about unity. This is not about separation.
Someone said men are emotionally attracted to other men. They're just sexually attracted to women. So like what you're saying, right? Like, men are attracted to a man emotionally, because it also kind of makes sense. Like, guys really, their relationships with their bros is so different.
A lot of the comments are like that as well. But you know why? It's because they can be comfortable and they don't have to do any work in that space. It's almost like just a space of relaxation. And I'm not saying that a woman can provide that, right? But you have to provide what you need to provide for her to feel safe enough to do that. So it's like, you can't just sit around and not do your part and not pour into a woman, not lead her, not do all these things, and then expect her to be this peaceful person. You know, like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right. I do get that. I get it's like, they don't have the sense of responsibility with their friends because, well, he gonna take care of himself, you know.
But the same for relationships, right? Why do men date around and just, you know, have physical relations with all of these women. They don't have to answer to nobody. It's just like, this is fun. Good while it lasted. Okay, see you later. No responsibility.
Exactly.
So I think what he was saying is very accurate, especially for the womanizer, because the womanizer distrusts women because I've seen it to where the womanizer has slept with people's girlfriends, people's wives, all of this stuff, and now they don't trust
because they're afraid that's going to happen again.
Yeah, exactly. But you literally pursued these women based on physicality and physicality alone, and then you're wondering why you see so much foolery. First of all, you're choosing a woman for the wrong reason. So
I'm so glad to have that men are starting to speak up and also like say these things, and because it's not like they're necessarily like backing us up. They're not doing it for us. They're doing it for them. Like, it's like finally they're saying, nah, guys, like we really need to step up our game. Like, if we're going to call ourselves men, then we need to be men of honor and of integrity and leaders. Like those, like Cam Newton, he has said something, and again, I can't remember if it was on that clip specifically or part of the whole episode, where he says something about, I'm an alpha, and I'm like, what does that mean?
Let's talk about it. Honestly, let's talk about it, because I think it takes an alpha male to be able to and equipped to even choose a capable wife, as he spoke of. We're thinking that alpha means super dominant, like,
it's what I say and when I say it.
Macho. And I think a lot of men think that they're alpha, and they're truly not that.
You're a beta.
Like, they're not. I think an alpha male is someone who is very comfortable with himself. He's comfortable with his relationship with God. I think that he really is a man of honor, like you said, integrity, good moral character. Also, he understands and can value a woman for a woman. And I don't think that he looks down on women, like no matter how much money he has or what he has going on. And also, he's not threatened by other men.
Right, he's a leader.
I see so much like weird catty men, like, jealous of other men and what other men have going on. And it's just like, are you a female? Like, I don't understand. You should not be threatened. You should be just as just as we all have gifts and talents that are from God directly, right? So why are you emulating or trying to be like another man instead of walking in your God-like divinity? That is very much so not alpha, and it doesn't fit. And I'm seeing like women are saying now, like, men are feminine. And I think it's because, they do have that like catty energy. Like, they are divas. You know what I mean? Like, they want to be the star of the show. Like, it's how I
feel. And I'm like,
I think it's funny when women, or like they call men baddies. I think that's hilarious because it's like, in your mind, you're so alpha because you conquered all of these women sexually, because you feel like you can get any woman that you want because of your social status or how much money you have. And you think all of that makes you alpha. But at the end of the day, what makes you a real alpha is like, I'm just going to give an example of somebody who gets clowned for being probably a true alpha. I think it is, by definition of God, though. Russell.
Sierra's husband.
Yeah, what's his name? Wilson.
I think so.
Is it Russell Wilson?
You have your Lord. But yes, Russell. I don't know if Wilson, but now
this guy gets clowned all over social media,
a simp and everything, and I'm like,
and I feel so bad because it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm just like,
is it Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, are y'all okay out there to really think that this man is a simp? Is weak, is all of these things that y'all are calling him? How make it make sense? This man is loving his wife. This man is taking care of his children and another man's child and embracing the whole family as a together, like
as if it were all one.
Yes,
like, there's no difference.
as if he's worshiping God, He is outwardly loving his woman. He don't care who sees it, and he don't care. He's not threatened by what y'all are saying. Like, he doesn't let that get to him and make him feel like less of a man because other men have an opinion about what he's doing.
And he got the baddest woman that you couldn't get.
Right. Like, he's probably not. Another thing that's so weak to me is when men are influenced by other men poorly. That's not alpha either. You can't even make your own decisions and act how you want to act for real because you're so worried about what the fellas will think of you, or oh, the fella's gonna think I'm whipped. Who cares? Like, why are you worried about what another man is thinking? Like, walk in your purpose and what you know is right. But that goes back to, do you know what's right in the first place? And 9 times out of 10 they don't, because they're not seeking God. Right. It's all a full circle. So I just find it ridiculous that people side with like a Future who is so toxic, and y'all are advocating for him over a man that's taking care of his family and doing everything in his power to be like a spiritual leader and like a really good man to his family, as God says you're supposed to be. But that's wrong. And the opposite way is supposed to be cool.
Right.
That's the craziest social toxic norm I have ever seen. Like, and it's so normal. So it's just crazy. Yeah.
No, honestly, I don't even know how to make sense of half of the stuff. I'm trying to understand. Like, this is why we're here. I'm trying to understand because it's scary. I think being in the dating scene, right, and constantly like meeting dudes, and I look.
What has been your experience? I don't want to go. We discussed the video a little bit. Sorry, we kind of going.
No, but we chatting. Welcome to the conversation.
So, as a single woman, what has your experiences been lately? Like
in the dating scene?
Yeah.
I think recently, this is the things that I'm hearing. I've heard of my whole life has been my standards are too high. That I got to bring them down because it's not realistic. And I'm talking about I'm hearing this even early high school, middle school, whatever, guys were already telling me that my standards were too high. But I would know, I mean, I noticed that I definitely just wasn't doing what other girls were willing to do, you know? But recently it's more so like things have changed. Like guys that I would talk to, they're like, things have changed. That whole like 50-50 thing is normalized, whatever. So that idea of me wanting a man that is a protector, provider, whatever, and allows me to mother my children is unrealistic. I would say though, I don't naturally attract dudes that are just trying to F around. Like, because I just think, I don't know if to say like, I don't give that energy. If they are, they just don't have the guts to tell me that that's what they're doing. And they're just calling themselves my friends, which I already know that is literally the case with most of them. Some of them are true friends, but again, I know that even though they're friends, if I were to open up that door, they would be willing. You know, like it wouldn't take much for them to give in to that. You know, I don't know. I feel like right now I'm just not even. I'm not even trying really. Like I'm cool. Kind of being in my, like, I'm not seeking a relationship right now. I think right now I'm really focused on relationship with God. I think that right now, even though I typically don't wear things that are like extra provocative, but I think because of my structure, it does give that regardless of what I'm wearing. So I do see the guys looking, whatever, saying things, but they just don't say it to me. Like, so I don't really know what's going on there. I'm kind of in my own little world.
I think I think it just goes back to how you carry yourself. If you carry yourself a certain way, I think they can sense it. You know what I mean? Like not to say that they won't still try, you know, because they always do. But at the end of the day, like, it's how we carry ourselves. Like, I wish I knew about modesty and just about that weeding out probably 50% of men, because their eyes are not popping out of their head because you're not showing all your skin. It's certain things that we do, like, that we can weed out, you know, just the people who are just out of there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
For sure.
And I think demeanor as well. I think you walk, another thing that you do is like you walk in confidence as a woman of God. And like that provides a certain glow that stands out from other, you know, from other women. Even like you said, women recognize it too. There's a certain glow that you get when you're walking in confidence.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I think that that's advice to women out there. Like once you do start seeking and finding these truths, you'll be really filled up with so much knowledge of how to carry yourself and how to operate that you're walking different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like what's really interesting, the thing is I was talking to somebody, right? And I mean, yeah, I've probably already heard of him a couple times, whatever. It is what it is. Still heartbroken, but whatever. And I started talking to that man, and my coworker had asked me, he's like, so do you have another prospect? And I'm like, no. And he's like, oh. As in, like, I was supposed to just, like...
Go to the next.
Yes. And I'm like... why?
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. Like, and I think that that's something that I think women have to really understand. When you give your life to Christ, you are gonna have less options. Like, there's gonna be less men throwing themselves at you. Like, yes, when I was out here just outside, and don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be outside, but like I'll kind of go outside for a little bit and then hide right back inside. Like, I wasn't an outside party girl all the time. But whenever I was, it was like guys were throwing themselves at me left and right? And again, kind of like even the way I was dressing, not too crazy, but enough for men to be like, ooh, okay, this might be easy, you know? But since that's not the case anymore, there is not men are just not throwing themselves at me in the same rate as they used to. I mean, I'm talking about even while I was pregnant, it's not that I have a child.
Yeah.
I know that it's not that I have a child. The reason why men are not throwing themselves at me because they were trying it even while I was pregnant.
I just experienced that today in a grocery store. I told my husband, look, I am never on a Saturday going like, you know, with my makeup even decent to the grocery store. Like, I'm never doing that again. And I'm not even being dramatic. Like, it was a little bit too much. I was just like, okay, look. Like, and then I would turn around, they would see
there's a baby there. There's a baby.
And some don't care. And I'm just like, okay,
that's a fantasy for a lot of dudes.
That's
literally.
Really insane.
And it's creepy. It's disgusting. I'm like, what do you mean you get turned on by looking at another woman that is pregnant by a child that is not yours? Like, I don't get it. But yes, like I experienced that for sure throughout my pregnancy.
I don't even know what to say about that.
I mean, I had one dude that I felt he was like, well, if your son is looking for a stepdad, I'm available. And I was like, and they don't know this, right? I don't share my relationship status or anything or whatever with the public. So they don't know that I'm not in a relationship with the father of my son. They don't know if I am. They have zero idea what is going on behind closed doors. And when he said that, I was like, well, my son isn't in need of a stepdad. He has a very present father. Like, I'm good. Yeah. And a man that even approaches me that way, like that's disgusting to me. Like, I don't respect you as a man that you're willing to disrespect another man's house. Right. If you think that man is present in our life. You know what I mean?
Another sign of a non-alpha male.
Literally.
Integrity is not there. And yeah, we've got high quality man and alpha male all twisted. Like what they think it is, and as many men call themselves that, if only they knew that they were so far from it.
That we're not measuring them by what they think we're measuring them by.
And it just goes back to what the Bible is telling us about just internal, like it's literally given us the blueprint to like what we should be looking for. Like, and most of these things fall back on a person's internal spirit and how they operate in the world and like how they treat others, how they treat their mother, how they treat their families, how they treat their friends. Like, all of this stuff is a thing. So if you pay attention to all of that, I think, you know, women can quickly go the other way because there's so many red flags that will show you that this is not a stand-up person. And I think if you look past just straight looks and hop off of that, you can literally start to and read the Bible, you'll start to have that strong discernment. And that's something that I just wish I had. And you mentioned something. Sorry, you mentioned something about going. I think what I used to do is like did not give myself to reflect between the men I was talking to. So not only was I engaging in sexual activity with men that I wasn't necessarily with, but on top of that, I would have, like maybe start to like someone, get to know them and stuff like that, and maybe get in a relationship and then that end, but then I'm straight into something else without stopping to reflect, because I wanted love so bad. Like I really did. Like I wanted to be in something with someone. And though my behavior wasn't demonstrating that fully, because I felt like, I was kind of lost, in my mind, that's what I thought that I wanted. So I was looking for it aggressively. And I feel like I never stopped in between to self-evaluate, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, what are you doing wrong?
Right.
And I think we jump because we think we have so many options. But like, are you stopping to reflect on yourself and like, how am I here? And why am I not getting the result that I want? Let me change.
Yeah, no, I want to emphasize that, like, if you are a woman that's looking to build a relationship with God, I need you to understand that you're probably going to be single for a lot longer than you were hoping to be, because God is like, okay, once you decide to be in a relationship with me, I need to really prepare you for the relationship. Not that, because this idea of like, we deserve this relationship, we deserve this stuff, is like, I don't think we deserve anything. It's given, it's a gift from God, not because we deserve it, but because he just simply wants to give it to us, So you being in a healthy relationship with a man that loves you, respects you and everything, is not because you deserve it, because you have flaws too. You know what I mean? Like, you are going to fall short too, but it's simply because God wants to give that to you, because he understands, he created us to want us to be someone's partner, but it is important to know that, hey, if you're going to give your life to Christ, you're going to have to be okay with being in solitude for some time, practicing abstinence for some time, until you do get married. Like, it's going to feel lonely, but I think unless you're really in a relationship with God, you're going to feel that you're lonely. But when you do have that relationship with God, you are good. Like, you're not
wanting for it. And that's why I got to speak on this, because I wish that I knew back then that your fulfillment comes from God. Stop looking for that in these people. If I would have been content with me and my relationship with God, I wouldn't have been so aggressively looking for it. And it's not like I was desperate. Like, it didn't just come from nowhere, because it was easily accessible. You know what I mean? But I was not the best version of myself to be nowhere near nobody. Like, I was broken. And when you get into stuff broken, it leads to more brokenness. Like, you're not starting as a whole in the first place.
Selfish.
It really is.
Like, that you know that you don't have much good to give to someone else, but yet you just want it, and you're making a decision off of like, I want that person, and like even like this last guy I was talking to, like that's something that I had to really sit with, is like, okay, I would love to be with this person. I think this person is great, but truly, am I even in the best position to really be an asset to this man's life right now? Like, I got to sit with that. And that sucks to think that there's still so much room for improvement for me to be able to carry the weight of that man. Because like, when you're talking to a man that you like, bro, like, that man is a man. Like, it's a lot that's going to come with him, There's a lot of responsibilities that you will also carry. A lot of times we think the responsibility of a man to carry his family. No, there's a lot of responsibility of you as a woman to carry your family as well, and to be his helper. Like, a helper doesn't mean that you just sitting there looking pretty and be like, babe, you got this. No, it's like, okay, when he's getting down and dirty, doing all the work that is necessary to move the family forward, what are you going to do to help him? And it might not necessarily be in the, okay, I'm going to help him with his business, but that might mean, bruh, I might not be able to take any trips because right now we're locked in. That might mean you're going to come home from work or just your home, and you're not able to distract him because he's locked in. And like, you're going to be in a relationship, but you're still going to feel by yourself low key. And you have to be okay with that because you know that this is for the greater good. Like, that's a lot of things that a lot of women cannot do. I've heard this from multiple men so many times. It was like, you know, I'm not the girl that I'm typically, like, it annoys me if you're texting me 24/7. If you're calling me, texting me 24/7, that to me tells me you're not doing enough for your life. So what are you going to do for me? You know, like, you're not working on a goal if you have all this free time when we're still young and broke. Like, you know, so I'm okay with, okay, if you're working, you're busy, I'm okay with, you don't have to hit me up. All I need is a good morning text and a good night text, or at least a good night call or something. And I'm satisfied with that. I'm happy with that because I know you're doing something productive. Right. And that idea, when I say that to guys that I've never been in a relationship with, right, these are just friends, they don't think that I'm being for real. And I'm like, no, I'm being so for real. Like, I'm not, like, for example, with my coworker, he'll say all the time, oh, because, bro, respectfully, if you're watching this, codependency within their relationship to me is kind of crazy. Like, right, he has a relationship and they're talking on the phone 24/7, like all day throughout work, they're on the phone. And I'm like, at what point do we have time for just you, right, as an individual? And that, to me, and I mean, hey, that if that works for them, that works for them. But for me, it's just like, I need, one, my space, my individuality, and then two, I need you to be hustling. I need you to be working on something, you know, so we can move forward. And that to some people doesn't make sense. They're like, what do you mean you haven't talked to him all day and all you heard from him was like once? And I'm like, I know what he's doing. Or at least I believe that that's what he's doing. If that's what he said he's doing, then I'm going to trust that that's what he's doing.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. That was some preaching right there. I think, so that for me has something that I've always struggled with because I've looked at it and I've thought that it was supposed to be a certain way, if that makes sense. Like, I thought just the way I was raised, the way my parents communicate, you know, the way my dad is, like, I thought that is a form of love, right? So, like, what you're saying is something that I was forced to reckon with because my partner is such an individual. And I'm thinking, or was thinking, like, this is why we have so much, like, friction, because I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, why do you thrive on individualism so much? Like, it literally annoys me. But through the teachings of, like, God and the Bible, I'm learning that I'm low-key in the wrong. Because, like you said, not only does stuff have to get done, and there are seasons and times for that, you know what I mean? But on top of that, you should be so, like, filled up, right, that you don't need anything from anybody. It's just a want. And I felt like my whole life, it was like a need for me. And so it takes a lot of undoing because this is what happens when you enter relationships broken. Before you allow God to make you whole. And I didn't give myself that time. I was just, all I know is I want love. I want love. That's what I want. I want to be married. I want kids.
Yeah,
this
I mean,
is what
same. I want the same exact thing. Yeah.
But it's almost like in the Bible as well, it's telling us that we cannot meet anybody's needs unless we meet our own. And so there's a lot of needs with me as an individual that I didn't take care of before entering in relationships. Like, I will put other people first and neglect myself. And that's not a good thing because you can't really love anybody. And it says it in the Bible as well. I really wish I can get that scripture real quick because I think I took note of it. But I'm just learning so much. Like, it literally says you can't properly love anybody else unless you find that self-love through God first.
Right.
And, like, you're satisfied with who you are completely because a real love sets you free. So meaning you cannot be, and I have this bad too, being fearful that someone is going to leave because they're not satisfied anymore or, like, I can't please them anymore. Like, I have a thing with, like, allowing people to kind of be free and do what they want to do because I have a fear of abandonment. I don't really know exactly where it comes from, to be honest. but I know that just through therapy and through the word that I had to change.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, as you're looking for that too, is like once you are so sure about yourself and you love yourself and you know, again, you find yourself through God, then you also learn to accept whomever is on the other side that you're dating for exactly who they are. You're no longer wanting to change them. Like, for good, yes. Like, should we pour onto each other so we can be better people? Absolutely. But there's going to be some things that you're going to be like, bruh, like, I've learned, like, that's just who you are. And I accept that for what it is. And I'm not forcing you to change, because if I tell you that I need you to change that, then I don't love you truly for who you are. If that's how you already are.
Ooh, you convicted me.
Sorry. I don't know.
No, this is good.
Okay.
This is good. Because, you know, I've broken a lot of habits. I used to be way worse. You know, I don't know if you've heard of like love attachment styles.
I've heard the detachment or like abandonment, something like that.
Yeah, it's like fear of, is it fear of abandonment, fear of something? It's like heavy attachment style love. I thought, you know, that it would be cute to be like white on rice. Like, you know what I mean? And and that, you know, my partner is supposed to be that way with me all the time, like just showering me with love, like just, you know, all about me. And I have craved that for so long. So I've always thought that, okay, if I don't have that, I'm lacking something. But God gave me a different type of man, you know, that he puts his purpose first and dedicates himself to that. He's serious about that. Like he's serious about pouring into me things that if he were to leave, I would be okay. Like it's a much different type of love. You know what I'm saying? It's not that, like, I'm not saying that he can't be soft or anything like that, because he has his moments of that, but it's the important things come first to him. So it's a spiritual leader. It's pouring into me to where I'm literally getting watered to the point where, like, if anything were to happen to him, like, I would be okay. I would be stronger than what I came to him as. It's a lot of different things that I didn't even know that I needed, because I'm so stuck in my mind about bubbly feelings inside.
Well, I would add to that too, is like the issue would be if he's just focused, and this is me, I don't know if you're watching and you disagree or whatever, or you have a different perspective as a man, tell me. But I believe if the man is focused on his goals and whatnot, just for self-recognition, so he can get applauded by the people, that's a problem.
Oh yeah.
Then I would understand but like he's focused too much on that and he's neglecting his family, because all he's doing it is for the attention, right? But if he's doing it to prepare for his children and his family, and that's a constant conversation going on at home, like, this is what we're doing, this is what's happening, and what's the next move, and like you're constantly all learning together and growing together. It's like, okay, what are you working on? Okay, bet, how can I help you? And vice versa. That should be a good sign that we are heading in the right direction. But then it kind of goes again, it's like, well, when he's doing that and he's letting you know, hey, right now I just don't have the time right now to do all the cutesy stuff, then you have to respect that too. Right? Because then if we force it on him to be like, oh, I need you to be here with me, like, you know, pay attention to me, and it's me, and it's me, and it's me. Not only is he going to dislike you, he's going to get annoyed by you, but then you're weakening him like that, you know, like he can't be the person you fell in love with to begin with, right? Because what you probably fell in love with was his leadership, you know? So
I mean, and it goes into the conversation of idol gods. I think he made me look. I thought idol gods was something that you were literally placing on like a different type of god. Like, I don't know. I saw idol gods very like immaturely. Yes, idol gods can be anything. I think for me, even just putting like marriage and family and everything on a pedestal in a way that you forget that you have a mission here on earth to handle. Like, you can make your husband your idol god. You can make this idea of the perfect marriage an idol god. Like, all of these things can be idol god. We have to be very careful with that. And I think he helped me to see that in a different light, because it's like, it doesn't have to be something that you think. Like, it can be something that you are.
That's good.
Yeah, it could be something that's good, but you're worshiping it. And the only entity we should be worshiping is God. Like, we should not be worshiping anything on that level. You know what I mean? And I had to catch myself because I felt like, you know, I wanted this fairy tale. Like, I wanted everything to be, perfect. Like I said, feel like rainbows and butterflies and da-da-da-da. But I've gained so much that I never even thought. Like, I've turned into a whole different person. Like, a whole different person, like, through this relationship. And I think that's where we want to be. Like, to where we can really grow with somebody instead of, like, just enjoying them for all the cute stuff, like, and all the trips and all the da-da-da-da. But, like, how are we feeding into each other, and, like, how are we getting each other closer to God, and, like, how are we really making each other better people, and how are we helping each other accomplish these missions that God gave us? Like, it's so much deeper. I think the meaning of life is just deeper than all of this surface level stuff that we think we want. So, absolutely. Yeah.
I like the stuff, but I don't know, unless you have some of the notes you want to read.
No, next episode, I think we can do this, what I have here, but we don't have to jump into it. I think there's I can't wait to touch on that topic of nice guys finish last. Woo. But anyway, no, I think that's all I have. I know we kind of went off from the video,
but I think it was like a good starting point. I kind of like that structure too. It's like, okay, what's happening out there? What are people, whatever, and then just having conversations stemming from there. I think that was a good, like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it went good too.
Well, y'all already know to find us here next Sunday, okay, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, we're just having fun. I think because we're still on the early stages of our podcast, we're trial and error, seeing what works, what doesn't work. Y'all let us know what you are enjoying that brings you back, you know. That way we know, okay, that's what we need to continue to pour into. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and then also when you're on our Instagram, share those videos. Like, we love that people are, you know, commenting either on the videos or even just like on YouTube, stuff like that. But definitely share it. Like, let's open this conversation to as many people as possible. We are welcome, right? Like, you know, people don't always agree with us, and that is a-okay. Like, the point is to have a conversation. So just, you know, food for thought. Let's talk about it too, you know. So yeah, be sure to be here on time next Sunday. God bless.
Love y'all. Bye.